It's 8:30 a.m. You've just spent the morning running around, getting everyone else out the door. So now, coffee in hand, it's finally time to sit down and smash out some serious work in your business. But before tackling your to-dos for the day, you figure it probably wouldn't hurt to peek into your inbox just to make sure some super dreamy new client inquiry isn't left waiting for a response. Then 2 hours later, you look up and realize once again you've spent half your morning responding to 57 emails, none of which actually lead to you landing more clients. So, are you feeling ready to stop being married to your inbox and get back to making progress on the work you had planned? In today's video, I'm sharing all my favorite tips for cutting way down on the number of back and forth emails that you deal with as a designer so you can get back to doing what you love. Now, a few of the tips I'll be sharing have to do with your website and how it's set up. But if you want even more ideas for how to turn your website into the MVP of customer service and sales in your business, then the free training I recently recorded called 4 Simple Steps to Double Your Site Sales is for you. Now, here is a link for that for you, or I'll also put it for you in the description below. So let's look at how you can seriously cut back on the amount of time you spend in your inbox as a web designer. Tip number 1, list your prices and exactly what's included in your packages on your website. Clients enjoy emailing you to ask your prices about as much as you enjoy having to repeat yourself 50 times a week in your inbox. So best practice is to save everyone the trouble and list your prices proudly and publicly for all to see. Say their budget is a hard and fast $500, but your most basic package starts at $5,000. Shrouding your prices in mystery only to be revealed after you've emailed back and forth a bunch of times about the value you can provide isn't going to magically change their budget. The numbers are what they are, and the right clients with the right budgets will appreciate how simple it is to find you and the answers that they needed to book in right away on your website. Now, even if you need to get more project specifics before giving a quote, listing your starting at rate is going to save you an awful lot of time spent playing email tag with clients who may not turn out to be a qualified lead anyways. Okay, so that's tip number 1, to put your prices out there for all to see. So what's tip number 2? Use a CRM. If you are currently having to email clients back and forth to sort out things like how to pay you, where and how to sign your client contract, collecting client homework, and collecting client feedback and edit requests, then you could be spending a lot of unnecessary time tied to your inbox, and a CRM, that means Client Relationship Management System, if you're unfamiliar, is how you automate pretty much all of these things. You can set a pre-built workflow and emails that automatically trigger based off which stage a project is in. So if someone decides to book you, they don't have to email asking for your PayPal, Venmo, or bank transfer details. They just click the handy little Pay Now button at the bottom of the super professional looking proposal and booking invoice that you sent over immediately after you hopped off that consultation call. It was all ready to go inside your CRM, and all you had to do was tweak 1 or 2 things to customize it to that specific client and then hit send. Got a client payment that's overdue? Your CRM can send you a little notification letting you know it's past due and asking you if you want to send them an automated reminder, which you've already long ago drafted and put your brain's spin on. So no more having to hunker down in your inbox to hassle that client for payment. My favorite CRM to use to automate all of my client communications and client handling projects and all those sorts of things, seriously just cut down on the back and forth emails in all of my processes, is Honeybook. I have a series of how to use Honeybook to streamline your web design business. And so you can find the first video in that series right here. And I'll put that in for the description below for you too. Okay. Tip number 3, which is to use an online scheduling tool. Probably the worst culprit for unnecessary emails is just getting them on a call in the first place. So say a potential client inquires using your Contact Me form. You follow up saying how much you'd love to hop on a free consult call with them to discuss their project. You offer them 3 dates and times and hit send. The only problem is they took 5 business days to get back to you, and those dates that you offered are either past or don't work, or another client has already snatched them up. So you offer 3 more times, and you play this little game of email tag again and again until you finally nail down a date together. Or you could just send them a link to your calendar to schedule a call in the first place. The first few times don't work for them? Cool, you've already got 10 more in there, already ready to go for them to choose from. Someone else snagged a call time? No problem, your calendar will automatically update, so there's no chance of double booking yourself. Okay, on to tip number 4, and that is to create an FAQ section on your services page. My favorite way to provide thorough answers while also protecting my sanity is to create a fancy little FAQ section at the bottom of every sales or services page. It is a super great way to plug some of the perks you might not have been able to fully cover in your website copy, but it's also the perfect place to make sure that your client has everything they need to know in order to make a buying decision today and without having to first contact you and then wait 1 to 2 business days for a response. Your clients and your inbox will honestly thank you for this. Now, getting repeat questions that aren't on your list, update your FAQ section as often as necessary to give your clients all the answers and assurance that they need to help them get off the fence. Tip number 5 is to create the ultimate welcome package. Your client just dropped a significant chunk of change and they are trusting you to work wonders on their website. You owe it to them to give them the warmest welcome possible. But this doesn't mean that you have to drop what you're doing and draft another custom email. Give your new client the VIP treatment and a virtual tour of your process by sending them over a super thoughtful and informative welcome package. Prepare this in advance and you can make each new client feel like you are personally holding their hand every single step of the way through the process without actually having to do much hand holding, which, let's face it, usually goes on in the inbox. So I share with you my tips for designing the perfect client welcome package in this post over on the blog, so be sure to check that one out too. Okay, on to tip number 6, make use of questionnaires. I love using questionnaires for client onboarding and project planning rather than simply emailing the client for what I need. By having them templated and ready to go, you're less likely to forget important things that you need to ask your client in order to get started. And by using questionnaires, which are best sent and stored using your CRM system, you'll have all the information that you need to work on their project all gathered up conveniently in one easy to remember place. Instead of having to spend 30 minutes rifling through your inbox trying to find that list of branded HTML color codes that they sent you, or trying to track down the spelling of their preferred domain name again. Plus, it sets the tone that you are taking the lead on the project rather than your client feeling like they need to email you bits of info here and there just as you think up the fact that you need them. Tip number 7, set an expectation of what comes next at every new stage of the project. So obviously a few of these things take up a little bit of prep time up front to get things running smoothly. But there's one thing you can start doing today to seriously cut down on back and forth emails that will take you hardly any time at all. And that is to wrap up every client communication or email you send with what to expect next. So if you're getting ready to send an email asking them for payment, be sure to include what will happen immediately after they do make that payment. Knowing what comes next will make it easier for your client to immediately take the action that you're requesting. You'll spend less time hassling clients for what you need via email and less time responding to those random questions about what is happening after this. And finally, tip number 8, create a shared folder for your client homework. You don't want to be sifting through 50 different emails to download 50 different images one by one, or constantly trying to retrace your steps in the giant email thread to find the one line of copy that they wanted added to their about page. Before you do anything else with a client, set them up with their own client homework folder in something like Dropbox or Google Drive, and make sure to set the sharing settings so your client can access it. This way, all the images, copy, branding elements, and edit requests can all be contained in one easy to access place rather than slowly taking over your poor inbox. So there you have it. My favorite tips for freeing yourself from constant client emails so you can get back to doing what you love. Remember, as a website designer, your website is way more than just a pretty business card or a way to get found on the internet. Set up correctly, it can save you a crazy number of hours and headaches when it comes to managing and landing your clients. So if you haven't already, do yourself and your business a favor and get access to that on-demand free training, which I mentioned at the beginning for you. So you'll find the link to the 4 simple steps for doubling your site sales in the description below, so be sure to check that out. And remember, if you found this video helpful, let me know by hitting the like button. And for the best tips and tricks on building a web design business that you genuinely love, be sure to hit the subscribe button and tap the little bell button so you'll be notified when new content drops on the channel every single week. Wondering what to watch next? Check out these videos too.